I accidentally called my girlfriend by my cat's name during our first time. She started meowing in response.
All right, buckle up, everyone. Today, we're diving into a Reddit post that, honestly, it's just a wild ride of a story. The title kind of gives it away. Tiffy, by calling a girl my cat's name during our first time and accidentally unlocking a kink I wasn't prepared for. So, our mission really is to look at how just one tiny verbal slip, an accident can completely change things in a relationship. It's pretty fascinating.
It really is. And what strikes me is how perception just snaps into reality, especially in those intimate moments. It's not just a funny mistake, right? It's more about how we as humans, we look for meaning and how quickly we adapt even to something totally unintentional.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We've got this 28-year-old guy. He just moved to Austin. And crucially, he has Juniper. Juniper is his cat, long-haired, gray, and apparently has the attitude of an elderly librarian and the scream of a car alarm.
Okay.
Quite the personality. Right. And here's the key thing for this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
He talks to her all the time. But not like baby talk. It's more like she's a roommate, a roommate who just never helps out. This habit, talking to the cat like a person for 5 years straight, that's the trigger.
Right. The groundwork is laid. And then Riley comes into the picture, a hinge match. She sounds great, funny, sharp, had this chaotic energy he liked.
Yeah, exactly. Dates went well, drinks, tacos, hiking, making fun of his records, standard good date stuff. Things are clicking.
Building momentum.
So let's jump to the moment. They're back at his place, first time getting intimate. Picture it. Bad Thai food, whiskey sours.
The classic combo.
Right. Candles, music, the whole vibe, as he says. And Juniper, the actual cat. She's there watching from the windowsill, like a little furry judge.
Oh, boy.
And then, okay, things are heating up. He looks Riley right in the eyes, deep moment. And instead of her name, he goes, God, Juniper.
Oh, no. Just
Juniper.
Juniper. I mean, can you even imagine the sheer panic? Wow. Okay, so what happens? Silence. Running.
Well, first, yes. Complete horrifying silence.
Yeah.
His brain apparently went straight to, moving spades, becoming a park ranger, total flight mode. Mm-hmm. But then Riley, she does something completely unexpected. She kind of tilts her head and starts purring.
Wait, purring for real?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Full-on purring. He describes it as low, throaty, committed purring.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Neither did he. So she then arches her back a little, narrows her eyes, and purrs louder. And that's when the horrifying realization hits him. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. She thinks this is a bit. She thinks I'm into this. She is now into this. She thinks I'm some kind of feline role play guy.
Because he said the cat's name. Oh, my God.
Exactly. And she's apparently leaning in, looking at her lips. She's crawling. And the actual cat, Juniper, she just jumps down and walks out. Like, nope, you guys are on your own.
Smart cat. So what does he do?
Well, his brain is apparently screaming. His body's confused. Mm-hmm. But he decides, you know what? Just roll with it.
The path of least resistance. Mid-moment corrections seem too awkward, maybe.
I guess so. So he goes with it. And things escalate. He says, there is meowing. There is scratching. At one point, she apparently bats at my chest like a cat pawing at a feather toy.
Oh, wow. Okay. They're really committed to the thing.
Seems like she did anyway. Afterwards, she curls up next to him all happy and says, you're so weird. I love it.
Oh, man. So she thinks this is just his quirky thing.
Totally. And it doesn't stop there. Fast forward a week, Riley's texting him cat emojis daily. She sent him a meme, a woman in a collar captioned, Juniper, right.
Oh, dear.
And she mentioned maybe buying a tail plug.
Okay, wow. It's escalating quickly.
Right. And for their next date, she told him to, quote, bring treats for your kitten so. He bought cookies. Wasn't sure who they were for.
Poor guy. The core issue, though, is that he hasn't said anything, right? He hasn't corrected her. He's stuck wondering, how do you backpedal out of a full-blown kitten play dynamic? Which, yeah, that's a specific kind of role play that started because you drunkenly confused your girlfriend with your cat.
That's quite the predicament.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When do you choose to just go with the flow versus correcting a pretty major misunderstanding? Especially when, the results are unexpectedly engaging for the other person.
Yeah, exactly. So stepping back from the feline specifics, what does this tell us? For me, it really highlights how these little ingrained habits we have, like chatting with a pet, can just pop out unexpectedly, and it puts you in that spot. Do you go for immediate comfort, avoid the awkwardness, or do you aim for long-term honesty, even if it means explaining something incredibly weird?
And it connects to that bigger idea, Our reality isn't just objective fact. It's shaped so much by interpretation, ours and other people's. One slip, one interpretation, and suddenly you're buying cookies for a potential kitten. Definitely something to purr over.
I wanted to prank my coworker with a fake secret admirer note. He cried and told me it was his first love.
Okay, so imagine this. A pretty standard, maybe slightly silly office prank. But then, picture it accidentally changing someone's life. Really profoundly, and in this surprisingly, beautiful way. That's the kind of amazing ripple effect we're diving into today. We're looking at this really compelling story, a first-person account from Reddit. It's from a TIFU thread. And TIFU, for anyone who doesn't know, it stands for Today I Fed Up. People share mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But this one, it kind of went surprisingly right.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How often do these small things we do, maybe almost without thinking, things born from just being bored or a bit of mischief, how often can they land with such huge, totally unforeseen emotional weight for somebody else? Completely flips the script on the original gesture.
Exactly. So our story kicks off in Chicago. There's this mid-sized print and design agency. And the person telling the story, he's 29, feeling a bit restless, long hours. So he decides to prank his coworker, Noah. Noah's younger, 25, described as pretty shy. And crucially, apparently Noah had never actually been in a relationship before. So the prank itself, our guy, the OP, he crafts this anonymous secret admirer note. And he goes all out, sort of, prints it on nice cardstock, gives it a little spritz of lavender scent, then slips it into Noah's locker, the one in the office kitchen. The note itself was, intentionally cheesy. It talked about Noah having the kindest eyes and the gentlest energy, stuff like that, and ended with something like hoping to brighten his day. The whole point was just a quick, silly throwaway joke.
Right. The intent seems pretty clear humor, maybe a little light teasing, nothing more.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets fascinating, isn't it? What happens when a gesture, even if the intent is kind of misguided or just joking, what happens when it hits a nerve, but in an unexpectedly good way? It sort of points to this powerful thing about human connection, I think, that sometimes what we put out there, even anonymously, can resonate so deeply, especially maybe when someone feels a bit unseen.
Oh, it absolutely resonated. The change in Noah was, it was incredible.
Yet, if you look at what happened next, Noah's entire demeanor shifts. It started, apparently, with him silently crying at his desk, which, must have been alarming at first. But then he reveals the note, reminded him of his first love. And from that point, it just led to this visible brightening. He started smiling more, actually went out and bought a new shirt, became chattier at lunch, started humming at his desk, little things. And the big one, he taped the note inside his locker door. So it's not just a mood lift, is it? It highlights how something so simple, even if accidental, can validate someone feeling invisible. It's like, wow, the power of just being seen, even through a prank note.
And it's really interesting how the prankster himself changed, too. He talks about feeling this intense guilt at first, trying to avoid Noah, but then he had this realization, that note, it wasn't his joke anymore. It wasn't about him. It had become, like he put it, Noah's poem, or maybe his closure. Something meaningful and personal that he just couldn't take back or reveal was a joke. He actually stopped doing those kinds of anonymous pranks after that. Switched to less HR hazard stuff, like putting googly eyes on staplers, which is kind of funny, but also shows how it affected him too. This accidental kindness, it shifted his perspective. So thinking about this, what's the takeaway for us, for you listening? It's a pretty powerful reminder, I think, that sometimes the words we use, the little actions we take, once they're out there, they aren't really ours anymore. They might become someone else's poem, or their closure, or maybe even a fresh wound sometimes. It makes you think, doesn't it? What small thing have you maybe done, something you thought was nothing, that might have had this huge unintended impact on someone else, completely outside what you meant?
And that, right there, I think that's where real empathy can come in. It's sort of the art of allowing a moment or a gesture or a word to just completely belong to the other person's experience and their interpretation. It means letting go of your own story about it, your own intent, and just acknowledging the ripple it created, whatever that ripple might be. It's quite a humbling thought, actually, about how interconnected we are, even through seemingly random actions.
I got my little brother a job at my company. He repaid me by stealing my position.
We're really digging into a fascinating story, one that came from an account shared online.
Yeah, it's quite something.
It just pulls back the layers on, workplace stuff, family loyalty, and how people climb that corporate ladder, or sometimes how they fall right off it. It's a classic case, really, where good intentions kind of crashed into some serious ambition.
And what's really striking, I think, isn't just the family angle, but how it shows this disconnect, between how valuable someone seems and what they can actually do.
Right.
Especially when a company culture goes for, flash over actual skills. It's a perfect little case study in office politics and maybe strategic waiting.
Definitely. So our main guy here is Mitch. He's 34, 10 years in logistics. Solid guy, knows his stuff, reliable.
The dependable one.
Exactly. But then his younger brother, Danny, who's 29, comes into the picture.
Oh, Danny?
Yeah, described as the charming screw-up. Dropped out of college a couple of times, tried music, even had a disastrous go at crypto.
So, not exactly a stellar resume up to that point.
Not at all. So Mitch, being the good brother, pulls some strings, gets Danny an entry-level job, coordinator role at his company.
Trying to help out.
And guess what? Danny actually cleans up his act, shows up early, volunteers for everything. He has this golden retriever energy, they called it.
Right.
And suddenly he's super popular. Coworkers love him. Management loves him. People start saying, wait, Mitch is your brother?
Ooh, that must have stung a bit for Mitch. Quietly doing good work for years.
You'd think.
Yeah.
What did your sources say about how Mitch felt seeing his, screw-up brother suddenly become the office star?
Well, that's exactly where it gets really interesting. Mitch was, watching all this happen.
Okay.
Especially when the department head job opened up. A job Mitch had been aiming for 2 years. He'd built reporting tools, mentored people.
Put in the real work.
Absolutely. Foundational stuff. But then Danny applies too. Just strolls in basically saying, can't knock the hustle, bro.
Wow. Okay, so the setup is clear. Experience versus charm. You'd expect Mitch to get it right.
You would. But nope. Danny got the promotion.
Danny, how? What does that tell us about what some companies are looking for?
Well, it seems Danny just wowed them. He had this flashy reorg idea, used all the buzzwords, streamlining, agile logistics, data visibility. He even made a Canva deck with a pie chart shaped like a truck.
You're kidding? A truck pie chart?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he had this internal TikTok about loading pallets that went viral inside the company. The VP saw it, thought it showed leadership and creativity.
Leadership, loading pallets on TikTok.
That's what the sources indicate.
Yeah.
Mitch found out and Danny just grinned and said, guess I owe you a beer.
Unbelievable. And Mitch must have raised concerns, right? Conflict of interest. His own brother leapfrogging him.
Oh, he tried, but his concerns were just brushed aside. HR apparently called Danny the future of logistics.
The future, wow.
It really makes you question, doesn't it? In this rush for innovation, how do you tell real ability from just a good sales pitch?
So what did Mitch do? Just give up?
He played the long game. He waited. Because he knew Danny didn't have a clue about the core stuff. Budgets, supplier negotiations, keeping proper records.
The actual job.
Exactly. Instead, Danny was all about Pizza Fridays and morale-boosting Slack memes. Documentation, replaced with simple summary decks, no audit trail. Nightmare stuff, really.
So it was only a matter of time.
Pretty much inevitable. 3 major shipments got delayed, suppliers weren't paid, one big client threatened to sue. Yeah. So the regional manager shows up wanting answers. And that was Mitch's moment.
He finally spoke up.
He did. Calmly laid out the truth.
Yeah.
And he had receipts. Backup spreadsheets, emails, everything, all saved on a flash drive. Showed how he'd flagged the problems, offered help.
And Danny had ignored it.
Seems like it. The proof is all there.
So the fallout.
Danny got demoted, sent off to a satellite office, and Mitch offered the department head job again, this time with a bonus.
Justice, kind of.
Mitch certainly saw it that way, though apparently Danny hasn't spoken to him since. Their mom even told Mitch he was being too competitive.
Ouch. Family dynamics.
Always complicated. But Mitch, he hung a screenshot of Danny's forklift TikTok in his new office. Calls it a little reminder.
Okay, that's a power move right there. A reminder of what not to do, maybe?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
A reminder that substance eventually wins out. It underscores that, diligence and integrity still matter. Patience paid off.
So wrapping this up, what's the real takeaway here for you listening? Beyond the juicy family drama.
Yeah, it's more than just gossip.
Right. This story is a really potent look at how organizations can get blinded, by flash, by perceived leadership. And they can totally overlook the quiet competence that actually keeps things running.
It challenges you to look deeper than the surface, definitely. Which brings us to the big question, I think.
Which is,
how do you, in your own career, tell the difference between real innovation and just, well, PowerPoint for pirates, as Mitch called it?
Ah, good phrase.
And what skills are really going to give you that long-term impact in today's working world? It's not always the loudest voice or the flashiest presentation.
Something important to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this story gives you something to chew on about ambition, loyalty, and finding your own way through it all.
I hear my daughter talking to someone in the closet. We don't have a daughter.
Okay, let's dive into this one. You're living alone, right? Quiet North Carolina apartment, just, doing your thing. And then suddenly you start hearing things, and not just like the building settling or pipes groaning. No, you hear a really distinct child's giggle. And then a bit later, this small voice asking, "Why did you leave me?"
This isn't some movie plot. It's what happened to one of our listeners. It's pretty chilling.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how fast a totally normal life, maybe even a bit boring, can just spiral into something deeply, deeply unsettling when the unexplained shows up. So today we're giving into this firsthand account. It's from a listener. You handle it, Greg. They shared it online. Our sort of mission here is to trace how these events unfolded, this terrifying progression, and maybe more importantly, explore the psychological hit, when your reality starts to fray. Right. So our listener, You Handle It, Greg, describes life as, well, pretty peaceful, maybe even boring, like you said, until about 5 weeks ago. Then everything just shattered, it kicked off subtly, they're making dinner, and clear as day, a child's giggle seems to come from the bedroom, and, first reaction, rationalize.
Totally. They thought maybe it was the wine they were having.
Yeah.
That classic thing our brain does, right? Trying to make weird stuff fit.
Exactly. Cognitive dissonance in action. But it didn't stay easy to explain away for long. The incidents, they escalated pretty fast. The very next night, they're brushing their teeth, and then this small, soft voice, definitely a child's voice, asks, "Why did you leave me?" That's not just a random noise. The specific words, "Why did you leave me?"
Yeah.
The emotion in it makes it personal, instantly terrifying. It's a direct challenge, isn't it? To their whole sense of reality. How do you even process that when something inexplicable speaks directly to you? And it gets even weirder, because the third time, this is where it gets really, really intense. 3 a.m, they hear a little girl's voice, cheerful, apparently, chatting away with a man's voice described as low and calm, and the source seemed to be inside the bedroom closet.
Inside the closet.
Yeah. And the really creepy detail, the second You Handle It, Greg got near the closet door, the voices just stopped. Silence.
Wow. So like they were aware.
That's how it felt, aware of being approached. I mean, what does that do to you psychologically when the thing you're hearing feels not just there, but aware?
Oh, absolutely. That shifts it, doesn't it? It's not just maybe hearing things anymore. That interaction, the stopping, what approached,
Yeah.
it suggests intelligence, awareness.
Yeah.
And that just violates everything we feel about home being a safe zone, a sanctuary, your personal space suddenly compromised by something unseen and maybe intelligent. A powerful example of how our minds just reel when faced with sensory input that breaks all the rules of logic. You get disoriented and, well, like with Handle It, Greg, your sense of safety just completely collapses.
So where did it go from there? The chilling stuff kept happening. They started trying to record it, caught some faint whispers, found their closet door open sometimes, just ajar. And then the big one, they find a child's crayon drawing on the floor inside the closet.
A drawing.
Yeah, a drawing of a little girl and a tall man. And they couldn't explain it at all, lived alone, didn't know any kids who could have possibly left it there.
Okay, see that right there? That's the turning point for me, the drawing.
Yeah.
It's not just sound anymore. It's physical, tangible evidence that something is deeply wrong, something that defies any easy explanation. It forces them to confront it. And then later that same night, the voice came back. Closer this time, apparently sounded confused. It said, "Daddy." Yeah. And then, "Why don't you come play with me?" Leading up to this final, absolutely terrifying statement, "I found you." Put it all together. It just shows this profound, escalating assault on someone's sanity, their sense of safety. This presence, whatever it was, seemed convinced You Handle It, Greg was its father. That misidentification, that's horrifying. It steals any last bit of peace they might have had left.
Unsurprisingly, they fled just left the apartment, left everything behind, convinced this thing thought they were its dad. The original post ended with this really stark, simple warning, basically. If a child calls you daddy from your closet and you don't have a kid, just move right away. Don't wait.
So what do you take away from this? I mean, how would you even react finding yourself in that situation, facing something that thinks you're someone else?
Right.
And it's in your closet. Your whole world just turned upside down. What do you even do?
He stole my idea and got the bonus. A month later, I became his boss.
We find fascinating stories, pull out the key takeaways, and basically give you the shortcut to being in the know.
Glad to be here.
Today, we got this really compelling story. It's all about corporate karma, someone stealing an idea, and then this amazing twist.
Yeah, it's based on a Reddit post, actually.
Oh.
Reddit post, okay?
Yeah, titled, "He Stole My Idea and Got the Bonus. A month later, I became his boss." I mean, that title alone tells you it's going to be good.
Whoa, okay, yeah.
It really gives you this unique look into workplace dynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with tough situations professionally. Plus the whole idea of documenting your work, super critical.
And that satisfying feeling when things just kind of work out in the end.
Exactly. Comes full circle.
All right, let's get into it. The setting. The post calls it mid-level corporate hell. Sounds familiar.
Huh. Maybe a bit too familiar for some listeners. Yeah. It's Austin. Mid-sized tech company, marketing department.
And the spark for all this drama was this innovation bonus thing. What was that about? Well, it was pretty standard, a corporate incentive. $5,000 cash, plus you get featured in the company newsletter.
Okay. Decent price.
Definitely. The idea was to reward ideas that save time or, money. Good goal, obviously. But it kind of created this pressure cooker, right? Suddenly your ideas weren't just ideas. They were potentially worth $5,000 and some recognition. Made things competitive.
Gotcha. So enter the original poster, a strategic coffee. They had an idea brewing.
Yeah, and a pretty solid one, it sounds like. They called it Smart Cal.
Smart Cal. What did it do?
It was an AI-integrated content calendar. Pretty forward-thinking stuff. The goal was to slash about 20 hours of manual work each month, streamline ad campaigns. Genuinely useful.
Okay, sounds valuable. How did they share it initially?
That's the thing. It was super casual. Just, brought it up in a regular team meeting. Their manager, Craig, was there, a few others, including this guy, Brian.
Ah, Brian. Let's talk about Brian. The description is something else.
Right. Human equivalent of that coworker who microwaves fish in the break room.
Ouch. That paints a picture.
It really does. Apparently he didn't contribute much, and there's this anecdote about him asking if, weather affected the cloud?
Seriously. Okay. So not exactly the innovator type.
You wouldn't think so. Which makes what happened next even more, dramatic. Suddenly, there's this company-wide announcement. Brian is being congratulated for his groundbreaking initiative in AI-integrated content optimization.
No, you're kidding.
And the original poster sees this and, immediately knows.
How did they know for sure it was their idea?
It was blatant. The proposal attached to the announcement, it apparently used their exact formatting, the same bullet points.
Get out.
And even a specific typo the original poster knew they'd made in their own draft.
Wow, word for word, typo included. That's bold.
Bold is one word for it, and incredibly frustrating for the person whose idea it actually was.
I can only imagine. Just pure frustration, seeing your work stolen like that.
Exactly. And it really flags that issue of, casually sharing ideas without some kind of formal protection or record. You're vulnerable. It makes you think, how do you even protect yourself in those situations?
What did the manager, Craig, do? Anything.
Not really helpful, unfortunately. The post says Craig basically implied that because Brian took the, quote, initiative to formalize and submit it, that somehow made it okay.
That's terrible logic. That doesn't justify theft.
Of course not. But it left the original poster feeling completely powerless or human.
So what happens then? Weeks go by, poster's morale's probably shot.
Totally. Enthusiasm just tanks. You feel wronged. You feel like the system failed. Maybe you fear speaking up. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, that fear of rocking the boat, or maybe thinking nothing will change anyway.
That's often what holds people back. But then, the twist.
Ah, the twist. Okay, what happened?
Craig, the manager, he suddenly leaves the company. Just gone.
Oh, interesting timing.
Very. And then through, a mix of circumstances, maybe timing, maybe internal politics, who knows, the original poster gets offered Craig's job, the manager role.
You're kidding. They took it, right?
They did. And just like that, They became Brian's boss.
Oh my goodness. Instant karma, almost.
That's pretty much. The power dynamic just completely flipped overnight.
So payback time. What happened to Brian?
Well, the poster says they weren't, like, vengeful. They didn't fire him or anything.
Oh.
But they definitely adjusted Brian's responsibilities. That's the phrasing used.
Adjusted. Uh-huh.
How so? Brian got moved off content strategy, his new role, analytics auditing.
Analytics auditing. Sounds like.
Lots of spreadsheets, lots of data cross-checking, very detail-oriented. And apparently, they paired him up with the most meticulous and talkative guy on the team, someone named Mark.
Oh, that's subtle.
Very subtle. The poster framed it officially as fostering collaboration and detail-oriented work, even referencing Brian's brilliant proposal as the reason he was suited for such meticulous tasks.
Wow. That's a masterclass in corporate maneuvering right there.
It really is. And it sends a message, doesn't it? Your actions, your reputation, they follow you. And power dynamics can shift when you least expect it.
So beyond Brian getting his just desserts, did anything change for the team overall? Any bigger lessons learned?
Yes, thankfully. That's the really positive outcome systemically. The team implemented a new rule.
What rule?
All new pitches, all ideas have to go through a shared drive now, and they get timestamped.
Smart. So there's a clear record.
Exactly. Proper credit, proper documentation right from the start. It protects everyone.
That's a great change. And what about SmartCal itself?
Oh, the final satisfying bit. The company newsletter eventually did feature the successful integration of SmartCal. And this time, it had the original poster's name on it, as it should have from the beginning.
Nice. Full circle indeed.
Definitely.
Wow. This whole story, this deep dive, really makes you think, doesn't it? About protecting your own ideas at work, navigating those tricky office politics.
For sure. How do you make sure you get credit for your hard work? How do you document things without seeming, paranoid?
Yeah, it's a balance.
It really is. And it leaves you with that bigger question, right? Collaboration is key these days. We share ideas constantly.
But where's that line?
Exactly. Where's the line between building on someone's idea together and just taking it?
Food for thought.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The takeaway from the post itself says it best, maybe. Keep your receipts, and maybe don't screw over the quiet guy with the Notion board.
Good advice. A powerful story. Thanks for unpacking it.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating case study.
Caught my wife cheating because of a shiny teapot.
It's straight from a Reddit post that actually kicked off with the disclaimer, this is going to sound fake as hell.
Oh, yeah, I read that intro. He even says, even to me, reliving it feels like a plot line someone wrote on Ambien, which tells you something.
Exactly. So get ready, because this is the story titled, Caught My Wife Cheating Because of a Shiny Teapot. Our mission for you today, really, is to unpack how these, totally mundane things in our lives, sometimes even decorative objects, can suddenly unlock these, profound and pretty unsettling truths.
It's the irony that gets me. It really is. This wasn't some, high-tech gadget catching someone out. It's about a couple who are apparently seen as, the stable couple. They even had a teapot registry for their wedding.
A teapot registry? Wow, okay.
Right. And the teapot itself, it was this sleek, silver, stainless steel thing. He says it was more decor than tool, just sat on the stove constantly. It's just such a powerful reminder, isn't it, that often the answers we're looking for are hiding right there, in plain sight.
Just need a different look, a shift in perspective.
Exactly. And we'll get into how his eyes, specifically as a graphic designer used to looking at reflections, led to this accidental, really shocking discovery.
So what was that discovery? I mean, how did it happen?
Well, he spots this tiny detail, a reflection.
Just like that?
Almost. It was a men's black shoe, not mine. Just a sliver of it, visible in the teapot's curve.
Oh, wow. In the teapot.
Yeah. And then there was more. Confirmation came later from a motion-activated indoor camera.
Ah, the tech backup.
Right. A very short clip, just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Showed a man, described as taller than me, built like someone who owns multiple Patagonia fleeces, kissing his wife.
Okay, so let's back up slowly. The initial trigger was just the teapot reflection.
Spot on. He's working from home, notices his wife leaving for what she calls coffee with Jenna.
But something feels off.
Yeah, he mentions, her makeup seemed a bit much. First date, extra, he called it. Her voice sounded kind of rehearsed.
That gut feeling.
Exactly. But he brushes it off. Then maybe an hour later, he's cleaning the kitchen, goes to put the kettle on. And because he's a graphic designer, he's used to really looking at reflections for work, like product shots.
So it's almost automatic for him.
It seems so.
Yeah.
He glances at the teapot, and his brain just flags something weird.
What did he see initially, before the shoe?
He describes seeing a sliver of the hallway behind me, the front door. And something else, that's when he spots it. Something that shouldn't be there. The black shoe, like someone was just out of frame.
That's incredible, just a tiny detail.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? How our brains work. Most people might not register that at all.
But his training made him sensitive to it.
Precisely. That visual anomaly just jumped out. So naturally he thinks, maybe I'll have shoes there. Goes to check.
Nothing there, I bet.
Nope, nothing. He goes back to the teapot, looks again, and the shoe is still reflected there.
Whoa. Okay, that's eerie.
Right. He even takes a picture of the teapot reflection with his phone, zooms in. Confirmed.
And the timestamp is key here, I assume.
Absolutely crucial. The photo timestamp is from after his wife had supposedly left for coffee.
Okay, so the impossible reflection is real. What now?
Okay.
Panic.
Well, that's when the spiral starts, as he put it. He checks their Ring camera outside first. Nothing useful there.
Standard stuff, package deliveries maybe.
Yeah. But then he remembers the indoor camera. They had one set up for their dog, motion activated.
The dog cam. Always watching.
And bingo, there it is. A clip from about 20 minutes after she supposedly left. It shows her coming back in the front door. And she's followed by this guy.
The Patagonia fleece guy.
That's the one. Can't see his face clearly, but the description is there. And then the kiss.
And he specified the kind of kiss, didn't he?
He did. Not a peck. The kind of kiss you give someone when you don't care who sees.
Ouch. So the teapot didn't lie.
The teapot reflected the impossible truth, and the camera provided the brutal confirmation.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway here? It feels like there's a bigger point than just, well, infidelity caught on camera via a teapot.
Definitely. I mean, the ultimate irony, right? This object, the teapot, it's meant for comfort, domesticity, home.
A wedding gift, even.
Exactly. And it becomes this silent, unwitting witness to betrayal.
He still has it, apparently.
Yeah, the original poster says he still has the teapot, hasn't touched it since. And he adds, it still reflects everything perfectly, even the things you don't want to see.
Wow, that's heavy. It's a really stark reminder, isn't it? Some truths, once you see them reflected, you just can't unsee them.
It really makes you think. It raises this question for all of us, How often are we missing these subtle reflections in our own lives? Maybe not literal reflections in teapots, but figurative ones.
Little clues or signs we just filter out.
Could be. Knowledge is valuable when we understand it, when we apply it. And sometimes it just pops up in the most unexpected ways.
Like from kitchenware.
Right. Maybe the original poster's final advice is something to consider, even if it's tongue-in-cheek.
What was that again?
He just dryly suggests maybe just get a matte black kettle.
Huh. Less reflective, less chance of accidental discoveries.
Perhaps. But it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What truths might be hiding in your everyday objects, just waiting for the right light, the right angle to reveal themselves.
Thanks for being with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.